All your life you felt behind. Everybody is passing you by. You wonder when it's your time. You stuck on the ground while everyone's flying. You're at the right place at the right time. You're at the right place, you're not behind. You're at the right place at the right time. You're at the right place, you're not behind. Late bloomer, you are so beautiful at every stage, at every age. Late bloomer, yeah, you are so wonderful. Just run your race at your own pace, yeah. Whatever's mine, it will be mine. I will get there on my own time. Whatever's mine, it will be mine. I am right here at the right time. I don't have to strain for it. It's mine. At the right time, I don't have to strain for it. It's mine on my own time. I don't have to strain for it. It's mine. I am right here at the right time. You're at the right place at the right time. Time. You're at the right place at the right time. You're at the right place, you're not behind. At the right time. You're at the right place at the right time. You're at the right place, you're not behind. On my own time. I'm at the right place at the right time. Whatever's mine, yeah, it will be mine, yeah. I am right here at the right time. Whatever's mine, it will be mine. I will get there on my own time. Whatever's mine, it will be mine. I will get there on my own time. Whatever's mine, it will be mine. I am right here at the right time. At the right time. At the right time.
So if there was a poster child for a late bloomer, it is I. I am she. All my life, I can remember being a late bloomer in life. I felt like I was always behind. I felt like I knew what I wanted to do, but I just couldn't get my footing to get there. And I felt really ashamed about that. I felt like everybody around me knew exactly what they wanted to do, who they wanted to be. They had the course for their lives set out. And for me, it kind of meandered a bit. It kind of took me all the way around the mulberry bush and back. Back to square one to start all over again. And I feel like in a lot of ways, that's where I am right now. I have shared before that it took me 9 years to graduate from college, 9 years. And this was off and on. And before a long time, I felt a lot of shame and guilt around not finishing in 4 years or 6 years or 7 years. And people would ask me, oh, what's going on? What's going on with you? And I felt like a failure. I felt like a failure. I felt like I was the embarrassment of my family. I felt like I couldn't get my stuff together. I felt like everybody else had their stuff together except me. And later on, I realized that nobody really knows what they're doing. We're all just kind of faking it until we get there. But it felt like my life was at a standstill. I had all this passion and all these wants to make a career out of my art, out of my music, and yet I was still studying American Sign Language in school because I thought that I had to do that to make money. I was battling between my dreams and what people told me was the reality. The reality is there's no money in art. The reality is, you can't make it out there without doing X, Y, and Z first. And I was just so disillusioned with my life. I just hated my life, if I'm being 100% honest. And I felt like, God was torturing me with all these gifts and talents and all these wants and desires and not being able to actually carry them out. And so, yeah. So like I said, if you're looking for someone who feels like a late bloomer, I feel like even physically, I feel like I'm still coming into myself. I'm still rediscovering what my body is, who I am, what I really want. And I really feel like as a people pleaser, it's really hard to navigate growing up and growing into yourself because you're so used to molding and fitting yourself into what people's thoughts and ideas of you are, instead of you actually having time to discover who your true self is. So I feel like at 31 years old at this point, I am just now getting footing. I am just now figuring out who I am. I'm just now figuring out what I want to do. I'm being relentless about it. I'm being brave about it. I'm no longer lying to myself or other people to appease them, to make them feel good about my dreams and my wants. I'm no longer allowing age to stop me, because what does that mean except for how many times I've been around the sun? What does age have to do with my abilities? What does age have to do with, my talent, my gifts? If anything, age brings, more fire, more passion. Age brings a more rich, culture, a rich talent. And I felt like because we glamorize youth so much, I felt like because I was older than what I was when I started my dream, I'm older than a lot of people I see on the radio or hear on the radio, I see in videos and all this other stuff. I thought that it's too late for me. I thought that my dream is too late for me. And what I realized is that I'm putting all of these limitations on me that God never gave me, that I never put on myself, but really that society wants me to buy into. And I'm just no longer willing to buy into those beliefs because they're not true. It's a lie. There are so many talented women that I know personally. There are so many talented men that I know personally who are older in age and who are just getting it and who are getting it good, who actually believes in their talent and their abilities. And so they're not allowing their age or time to stop their progress. Because the truth is, time is going to pass either way. Either way, we're going to get older, right? Either way, we're going to age, we're going to start, changing in our bodies and our minds and stuff. And it's like, okay, since the time is going to pass anyway, why not just do what you want to do? I know it can be really overwhelming when we sit and we be like, dang, if only I had started earlier, if only I had done this earlier or sooner. We can't do anything about the past. We can't do anything about the past. All we can do is use the days and the hours that God is allotting us today or in the future, however many days or hours that is, to really get to where we want to go. We're the only ones in the way of our dreams. We're the only ones in the way of what we really want to do. If you're 50 and you want to go back to school, go back to school. If you're 65 and you want to start a new career, start a new career. If you're 25 and like me at 25, I had like a quarter life crisis where I felt like my life was over. How sad is it that at 25 years old, I thought that my life was over? Or at, 27 when I graduated, that I thought that I was a failure. I couldn't even celebrate how I wanted to celebrate because I was so ashamed that it took me 9 years to get my degree. And it wasn't even, honestly, whatever, it doesn't matter whose fault it was, but it wasn't even all my fault. In college, I went through a lot. My parents got divorced. My grandmother passed. I went through horrendous relationships with men. It was really, really bad. And I suffered from depression for a long time. I didn't have the language to really articulate what I was feeling. I didn't really have the resources. And also, sadly, in some of the Christian camps that I was hanging around with, they were saying like, oh, you need to pray it away. You know, it's the enemy, all this other stuff. And it wasn't until one of my friends actually got me into counseling that I said, okay, maybe I'm not crazy. Like maybe I'm not, maybe it's not all on me. Maybe it's not all, demonic. Maybe I really am suffering with mental health issues. And it wasn't until after I got married, actually, that I went to therapy consistently, and I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder. And so for those of you who struggle with depression, you know that sometimes you feel like unable to do anything. You feel overwhelmed by everything. You can feel numb. You can feel sad. Like there's a range of emotions that you experience as a person who suffers with depression. And all of that was affecting my studies. When I was, going through it, when I was going through like bouts of depression and drinking my sorrow away, doing homework didn't feel important. It just didn't feel like it was important. I felt like I was wasting my life. I felt like I was wasting my time. And I really do feel like that college was one of the triggers for my depression. For whatever reason, here I am today at 31 years old, that I'm just starting my music career. I'm just starting to believe in myself and to go in on the stuff that I really want to accomplish, and not allowing this idea that I'm a late bloomer to stop me. It took me a lot to get here. I am a very different person than I was at 18. I'm a very different person than I was at 16 or 15 or 12 or 10 or 7 when I knew that I wanted to be a singer, And I'm so grateful for all the experiences in life, because I can make music like this, because I know that it's coming from a true and pure place. I know that my worth is not built on what I create. It's not in how many people I please, how many people like a video or who stream a song. My worth is way more than that. And I still have a lot of things to work through. But the thing about being a late bloomer is that even when you bloom, when you feel like you bloom later than everybody else, it's still beautiful. The process is still beautiful. You blooming in your own time. Every plant does not bloom at the same time. You got pumpkins, right? It's October. You have pumpkins, and pumpkins don't, get finished until the fall. Meanwhile, honeysuckle was in the spring. And so if we're comparing these two things as if they're the same, yeah, one's going to feel like it's dead. But think about if we were putting that pressure on that pumpkin to be a honeysuckle, right? We would cut it off, we would throw it away, and we wouldn't even know the beautiful fruit that pumpkins actually produce. And I think that it's a great comparison to our real lives. I feel like it's a great comparison to ourselves. We keep comparing ourselves to other people as if we're them. We are not them. We bloom in our own time. Some things take much more time to root, to spread out. You know what I mean? Some things need more stability. Some things need more time. And it's important that we give ourselves time, that we bloom in our own seasons. Because if you've seen it, and I'm sure you have, you've seen late blooming plants, right? Or early blooming plants. Plants that bloom too early, like when it thinks it's spring, but really it's like that DMV weather where it's like spring and winter. For those of you who are in the eastern side of, or northeastern side of America, you know that when those things bloom, it's like, oh, it's spring, and actually it's winter. And so a snow comes and it kills it. You don't want to come out with your dream way before it's time. Maybe there was a reason why I didn't graduate until 2017. Maybe I needed time. Maybe there was something I was supposed to miss. Maybe there was something I'm supposed to gain by being there, And even all the sucky times in my life, when I look back, there are beautiful times, though, in those sucky times. There's something I was supposed to experience in that time. And it doesn't mean that I'm late. It means people were expecting me to be somewhere that I wasn't ready for. Why are we putting all this stuff on ourselves to be the failures when it really is the expectation of other people who are ruining our idea of where we are in life? How much more content will we be if we just were able to be okay with where we are in life? You are not behind. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. You're right here at the right time. Just because somebody else is, 10 steps forward, or it seems they're 10 steps forward from where you are, because a month later they could be back to where you are. It's so silly that we judge ourselves based on other people. We're not them. We don't want the things that they want. We don't have the same story. We don't have the same mission. We don't have the same goal. We are as unique as every plant that exists. We are as unique as every plant. And so to expect my gladiolas to require the same things as a succulent is silly. It doesn't make any sense. The need is different. The time that it blooms is different, right? The way that it looks is different. The way we enjoy it is different. And so I think we need to take this for ourselves. And if you're a late bloomer like me, join the club. Welcome, welcome. I'm so happy that you're here with me. I am excited that I'm a late bloomer, because I know that and all the soil that I was rooted in and all the muck and the mire and all these horrible things that happened, I know there's so much nutrients that I'm taking from those times. I know even in the pausing and the waiting, when it can be so hard and so painful, I know on the sober side of my mind that there are things that I can gain from these experiences. In the moment, it's okay to feel your feelings. It's okay to be like, this sucks. Like, I'm ready to go. You're ready to go. You feel like everybody's going ahead of you. Everybody's getting ahead and you're just stuck in the background, right? But the thing is, you are exactly where you're supposed to be, even though it doesn't seem like it. There is something in this moment that you're supposed to get or something you're supposed to wait for. You know, I often think about getting stuck in traffic. I used to get so annoyed being stuck in traffic because I'm trying to get to where I'm trying to go. But I also think about, what if this delay is important for my safety, my survival? What if I miss an accident? What if I miss, seeing somebody that would trigger my emotions, right? Like, what if I miss something? What if God is like delaying me for a specific reason? And I'm too busy trying to be rushed. And I'm not being thankful for being delayed. It's a very westernized idea that we have to be at a certain place at a certain age or a certain time. A lot of other places in the world, you get there when you get there. It's about the journey. And here we have been brainwashed to think that we are not worthy unless we are meeting these requirements at the specific time that other people deem for us. If it takes you 10 years to get your degree, 20, 30, 40, 50, I don't care. As long as you're committed to the journey. And maybe that journey will change. Maybe you don't need to get the degree, right? Like, there are things that I would change. I probably wouldn't get the degree if I knew what I knew now, but it's okay. We're here now. But I'm trying to have more grace with myself and be open to the process and be open to the idea that maybe I'm not a late bloomer. Maybe I'm just a whole other plant that needs other things. Maybe my season is fall. Maybe my season is winter, right? Maybe I need years to develop before I bloom in spring. And maybe that's okay, because I would rather be a healthy plant, for the sake of this, example. I'd rather be a healthy plant than a plant with weak limbs, a weak trunk, you know what I mean? Being blown away by life because I wasn't ready. So I'm willing to take the small steps because I know the small steps are going to add up. They do matter. You reap what you sow. So I'm sowing small seeds. I'm sowing tiny things. And I know, like, the smallest seeds sometimes have the biggest plants. And so, yes, I give that to you, but without making this too long. It's okay if you're a late bloomer. I see you. Trust the journey. Trust the process. I know it's really hard. I know it's really tough. I know it feels like people talk about you. I know it feels like people are looking down on you, or they feel like, this person just can't get it together. But you will flourish and you will shine, and you're shining now. Even your sprouts are beautiful. Even though you're not in full bloom, your sprouts are beautiful and they deserve to be celebrated and kept safe and sacred. When we start to see a little pea plant come through the soil, we don't say, the stupid pea plant, it's not big enough. No, we take care of it. We nurture it. We celebrate it because we're so excited that something green is coming through the ground. Your green is coming through the ground. It is. It is. And even think about what it looks like from the top versus down. Think about carrots or turnips or things that are like root plants, like things that grow in the soil. When I think about those things and how they have to be pulled up, it can be very deceiving. The top of the carrots can look very sparse, and you pull up that carrot and it's huge. You could be a root vegetable. You know what I mean? Like, you are your own person. That's all I'm trying to say. You are an individual. You are unique. And it's not fair to compare yourself to other people and other people's progress and situations, because you were not them. You were not made to be them. Stop punishing yourself for not being where you think you should be, and celebrate the fact that you are where you are, and do the most with where you are. There are still some things that you can do even today. I'm not blown up as much as I want to be, but I'm still showing up here, making music, offering encouragement to other people because I want to see you win. I ain't got fancy equipment, but I got my phone, right? So use what you have. Use what you have. Use what you have. And celebrate what you have. Celebrate what you've done, what you are doing. Celebrate the progress, even if nobody else sees the progress. Like I said about the carrot, we can't see what's going on underneath, but we know that something's happening. We hope that something's happening. And when it's time to reap, right, what we've sown, the carrot seeds, for example, we pull it up, we celebrate it. We have a harvest festival. It's the same thing for yourself. In due time, I hate to be cliche, but in due time you will reap. And I'm saying this to you, as I always say it to myself, because I can get discouraged too. I see you, I celebrate you, and I don't care if you bloom in spring, summer, winter, fall, 5 years from now, it's gonna be glorious. And it's glorious right now. The process is glorious, because if we're gonna celebrate the bloom that is glorious, we have to celebrate the process that got it there. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard, please leave a thumbs up. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. Does this resonate with you? Are you a late bloomer? Welcome to the club. If you know someone who needs to hear this, please share it with them. I would so appreciate that because they need to hear this message. They're glorious in their process and whenever they bloom, whenever it's time for them to bloom and to experience that sunshine and the celebration. And if you want to support me, please feel free to join my Patreon. We have conversations over there. You get the insiders. You also get downloads to this song like this. And yeah, let me know if this is helping you. Let me know what you need to hear. Let me know what you're going through. Be sure to submit your love letter to the Love Letter Project at the link in the description if you want me to make a song for you. And until next video, you guys, talk to you soon. Bye.